Alright, we are live. Trying to get the camera set. Alright, Yang Gang. We are live at Plymouth State University in New Hampshire. We are waiting for Andrew's arrival. He's one of my homeboys over there with the purple hair. Probably gonna see a bunch of people we know. Welcome back, Yang Gang. Welcome back. So if you are joining us live here, I'm queuing up on here. That way everybody can see it. Yes, hit the thumbs up. Share it out. Tweet it out. Make sure everybody gets on here. This place is nice, y'all. Plymouth State University. If y'all are away and you have the opportunity to check out this place, it is beautiful here. Very beautiful. Hola. You are so welcome, Mai. You are so welcome. So we are live here at Plymouth State University. Y'all tweet this out, share it out, make sure that the Yang Gang gets on here. So, how big is it? I'm not sure. The campus looks like it's pretty good size. Campus here. And we're actually, this kicks off about, can we get a full view of what? Full view? I mean, I can pan. This is just how big is the venue where he's speaking? About 50 chairs. But this is, that Emily, yeah, we can talk about that at some point in time. That would be awesome. We got the most awesome news people here. They are becoming familiar faces around Yang Gang. Plymouth State University. 17. Come on. We got to get some more people on this live stream. How many people do we expect to show up? I'm not real sure, because it's really weird at these events. Here, let me turn this around so I can talk to y'all. So it's really weird at these events sometimes because you never know what to expect. And if y'all tuned in a couple videos and saw our bloopers, Little Yang Gang was asking about what kind of Andrew Yang events we were going to, whether they were going to be the ones where you got to be quiet or the ones where you got to. Somebody said they like my scar. So, or the ones where we could be loud, because he can't look. He's a lot like me, and he can't stand to be quiet for very long, or still. He's just he's Little Yang Gang. So anyway, we never know what these events are going to be like. We never know if it's going to be Yang Gang. Well, sometimes we do. Or if it's going to be like a formal event, you know, like a setting like this. We just never know. I mean, sometimes it's completely undecided voters. Sometimes it's Democratic voters. You know, it's just all a crapshoot, really. So, we're live here at Plymouth University. We got 23 people on the live stream. We gotta get that number up, y'all. I guess everybody's at work, probably, right? And the people who are at work, who are watching this, y'all might get in trouble. Don't get in trouble at work. I'm gonna turn this back around. Nah, go ahead, bro. We're live at Plymouth State University. So are you here for Andrew Yang?
Yeah.
Now hold on. You want to be on YouTube?
Sure, yeah, why not?
All right. Come on up here. All right. So I'm here with my brother. What's your name, bro?
Sammy.
All right. Sammy?
Uh-huh.
All right. So you're here for Andrew Yang.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you a fan of Andrew Yang?
I've heard about him a little bit.
A little bit? You
Yeah.
don't know much about him?
Nah.
Okay, so you're first of all, let me say that you're in for a treat. because Andrew is probably he's probably a once in a lifetime candidate.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody like him for as long as I've been involved in politics.
Yeah.
Guy's incredible. He actually played skee ball with my son.
Really?
How crazy is that? That just shows you what type of dude he is.
Yeah.
But if you would, I would like to interview you after he speaks. Okay?
I would love to. Yeah.
That way we can kind of see if you have been swayed in any kind of way.
Sound good.
All right?
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all heard it here, Yang Gang. We're going to interview him after Andrew Yang speaks and see if it swayed him any. And we'll just see what's up. So I'm going to turn this camera back around. Y'all get this live stream out. I'm going to try to fix this camera real quick, y'all. So if you see the camera moving, that's right. I don't want to be popping off in the middle of the live stream. All right. So yeah, we're gonna definitely see if he gets yanged. Andrew should be here any moment, y'all. As you know, we just left the last event. And I gotta tell y'all this story real quick. So, we're going down the road, right? We're on our way here. And we see I look over and I see a Yang bumper sticker. And I was like, oh Lord. I was like, it's a Yang bumper sticker, look. And so sped up just a little bit and get up next to the car, and this dude is in the car and he's like jamming. And I look over and see who it is, and it's Steve Marchand, and he's like right next to us on the interstate. I was like, oh my gosh. I thought I had a Yang in the wild, and it was Steve Marchand. I was like, that is crazy. Oh my word. So anyway, Andrew should be here any moment. I think this is scheduled to, yeah, I know. We beat him here once. It's crazy. But we're waiting for him to get here. He's got his booth set up over here. If you see a dude right there with purple hair, he works a lot of the booths for New Hampshire events and stuff. So if you watch a lot of these live streams, you'll probably see him a lot. He's always here. If you look over here to the center of the screen, you see Steve Marchand. Any moment, y'all. Now, see, the cool thing about the grassroots Yang Gang is, you know, you don't get this at like a lot of other news. You see back here in this corner? That's what journalists do. Thank you, George. Y'all definitely hit that super chat if y'all want to help support this channel, help support these live streams. Stream is stuttering and buffering. I'm sorry, y'all. We're trying to. All right. We'll see if we can just set it still. But we see these journalists here all the time. You know, NBC and Anonymous. Emily, what you know about Anonymous? You better check the tattoo on the back of my leg. Gang, thank you so much, y'all, for being here. Is that live stream? Has it steadied out any, y'all? I mean, we're doing the best we can with the signal in here. I don't want to mess with it too much. Y'all let me know if it's coming through okay. Hear me ask Jester what? Hold on. About her feelings towards Yang. You know what? I actually just found out who Jester was, Steve. So, Okay, yeah, I haven't really been to Twitter that much. But I did see her on Twitter, and I followed her. But I see Nicole back here is working hard, and I don't want to turn it around because it might mess up the live stream. Little pause once a minute. Okay, Jester, if you don't know, she works for some other media. I think it's NBC. And I'm seeing the green math hats. Okay. I saw somebody ask about Little Yang Gang. The thing is, these events are hard on Little Yang Gang, and he gets gang exhausted sometimes. I mean, he loves Andrew Yang, but it's the events and having to come to him all the time. And he's like me. He can't be still. And he can't, he's got to be doing something all the time. And for him to be quiet at these events. So anyway, right now, Mama Yang Gang is outside with him. So, yeah, for Joe Biden is probably Yang Gang. But y'all like, share, subscribe, ding that bell so that you know when these live streams hit. I saw Mama Yang Gang. So that's cool. Little Yang Gang alert. There we go. So, yes, y'all like, share, subscribe, ding that bell, donate if you can. Every dollar helps. Y'all don't even understand.
You want a sip?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you.
He was thirsty, so we had to go to the...
What did you get? Show the Yang Gang. Oh, we stepping on my ankle. Oh, I better not sing that song. Somebody, look, y'all, how do we get? Okay. Y'all, we got copyrighted. Our last live stream got copyrighted. And whoever copyrighted it is trying to take half of our revenue that we can get from it. That's crazy.
I'm going to set up my stuff right here. I got you, buddy.
Man, that's good. What's up, Steve?
We're just going to kind of hang out, walk around. You like the panther outside.
Panther outside?
Check that out.
All right.
There's a panther outside.
There was a panther outside?
And a squirrel. He did chase a squirrel, too.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was trying to catch it.
My gracious.
It got in the flowers and I got in the bed and I was checking. I was being so quiet and I never found it.
Man. What song did I sing? I mean, I probably did because I like to sing. But I wonder if I should start playing some Yang music.
Don't get copyrighted.
Don't get. Thank you so much, Jelly Maximum.
Daddy,
We appreciate that very much. Yes, buddy.
we found a messed up panther. It was jumping off of the wall.
It was messed up.
Yeah, it looked like it had no skin. Weird.
Weird. I'll have to check it out when we leave here.
And the other panther.
Yeah. You know what? I'm seeing Yang fans, but I'm also seeing like
Where's your lollipop?
not really Yang fans. If that makes sense. So it's kind of a mix. It's kind of a mix here.
You just threw it in here? Without a wrapper or anything?
I think it's getting hot in here. I mean, I do like that song. But I won't sing it again, even though it's playing in my head right now. Appreciate it. $60 people on this live stream. Can y'all tweet this out and get some more people in here? The broke folk vote is real. Oh, this is, yeah, okay. So this is Plymouth area Democrats. It's not just Yang Gang. This is everybody.
There it is.
Oh, Yang Gang. I got to tell y'all real quick. Guess who was in the New York Times this morning? Guess. Whoa. Easy on my tripod there, kid. All right. Yeah. It's crazy. I'm telling you. Look.
Hey.
Say hi to
Ooh,
Mommy
I'm really
Yang.
close.
Hi, Mommy Yang.
Hey. Do y'all ever get tired of hearing y'all tweet this out? Fred the Felon was yesterday.
Yeah. He got in there yesterday, but they did a whole article on me. Oh, you good, bro? So, from my interview with George Carlin. I mean, what's his name?
John, was it John?
Yeah, Sarlin.
John Sarlin.
Yep, that's pretty cool. So, CNN, New York Times, Fox, NBC,
It was in somebody
Denver
mentioned
Courthouse News, Politico.
Did you say
Grassroots-
LA Times?
No, did not.
All the times.
Sure.
Just all the times.
We're in all the times. Half the times, part of the times, none of the times.
Ew, really
Where is it
low.
posted? New York Times. It's posted in the New York Times. Yeah, George Carlin. Rest in peace. That dude was on it. So yeah, this is a. I think it was the NewYorkTimes.com, right?
I just typed in New York Times, Andrew Yang,
New York Times, Andrew Yang,
from this morning.
from this morning.
Well, I didn't put from this morning in the search. But
Oh,
it was
don't put from this morning. Mine is from this morning. Just look for the date.
Here, pull. Pull.
Look, they basically stereotyped me, but that's okay.
It was actually kind of funny. They're like
It was kind of funny.
the typical Trump supporter. or
I'm the
something.
typical little redneck from the country.
Like if they were gonna pick someone to play a Trump voter
It would be me.
from North Carolina on Saturday Night Live,
It would be me.
Russell. They said that. They
I would like to play myself on Saturday Night Live. I think that would be pretty cool. Y'all get in touch with me. Look, I think there's that jester that y'all were talking about right behind Mama Yang Gang.
Yeah.
That's the jester.
What?
You know what's so frustrating? It's like I sing all the time, even though I can't really do it, and it's just and it sucks because I don't want to get copyrighted. I don't know why they copyrighted us on the last one.
I
That's
don't
crazy.
either. I haven't figured it out yet.
But what's up, Mr. Nice Guy Nightmare? What's going on? We are at a Andrew Yang event. The only time I'm willing to say I'm glad I'm sitting at home. Well, thank you, Vic. We appreciate that. It means a
I
lot
hope
to
you
us.
feel better.
Get the
That
feeling
sucks.
better, Vic, for sure.
Yeah.
If there's anything that we can do, I don't know. Shout it out.
Need some chicken noodle soup?
Chicken noodle soup?
Okay.
That's so country. Why would you say chicken noodle soup?
I'm such a stereotype.
Stereotype. Jeez. Come on. Did
It's
it?
almost like they were saying he was a fake person.
Like, I'm about as real as they come. I mean, you can't get much realer than the grassroots Yang Gang. We are the broke folk vote. Mr. Carrot King wants some chicken noodle soup. Yeah, it's hooked on there. So, we are patiently waiting for Andrew. He should be here any moment, y'all. I know we start these live streams a little early, but like if we didn't start them early, y'all wouldn't have time to tweet them out.
Yeah, tweet him out. That's all he says. Tweet him out. I'm just kidding.
Tweet it out.
He's always talking about tweeting stuff.
Make sure you use your hash browns right.
And yes, it is cold up here. Today it's actually not that bad, but it has been very cold. It might even snow Halloween night.
Y'all, we're not used to the snow. Oh my goodness. We are from the dirty, dirty. You're used to the snow? All right, you ready for it? Oh.
I'm ready for hot. I'm ready for cold.
You're ready for hot? You ready for cold? Are you ready for snow? Yeah? All right. Is that sucker good?
Are you ready for Halloween?
Lollipop. Got it. My bad. There is a difference between a sucker and a lollipop, y'all. If y'all don't know that, now you know. All right.
Trying to be quiet.
I think we it might be go time, y'all.
Makes my mouth so fuzzy.
Okay, when Andrew comes, then when people,
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Lollipop Street. Good, Vic.
Everybody's talking about chicken noodle soup and lollipops.
Chicken noodle soup and lollipops. That's how we roll in the grassroots Yang gang.
Let me tell you why there's a small crowd, I would say, is because we're like in the middle of nowhere. I mean, besides the university, besides that, there's nothing else around here. Like, it's not near any big cities.
Right. It is. Well, I mean, Plymouth, New Hampshire. Is that not a big city? I mean, I guess.
For New Hampshire, maybe.
I guess. Yeah. It is. You got. This is a sparsely populated area for sure.
Yeah.
And this is also Plymouth area Democrats. This is a mixed bag here, y'all. This is not just Andrew Yang supporters, although we have our math hats. And our brother over here, who we're going to interview here in a little bit, and see if Yang has swayed him in any way, shape, or form. We think he's going to get yanged, but that's just our opinion.
Everyone here can get yang.
Everyone's going to get yanged. Now I gotta twist my camera back around. On this planet, we're gonna yang everybody. I agree,
Right.
little Yang gang.
It's so funny because Lil Yang Gang will always tell us, he'll say, we go to the grocery store, we go to a restaurant, it doesn't matter wherever we go, and he's like, hey, did you yang that person?
Look, little Yang gang keeps us on point. He sure does. He does. Look, if we don't tell somebody about Andrew Yang, he's cracking the whip.
He points it out.
and we always do, obviously.
But like, even if you miss one person, like if somebody walking down the street that walks past you, he's like, did you yang that person? You need to give them a yang bug.
Give him a Yang bug.
So cute.
Hey, man, gotta spread the gospel. We joke that following Andrew Yang has become like a religion. I mean, so we just like kind of make a joke about it. So if we say something on one of these live streams or in one of our videos where it sounds a little bit sacrilegious, it's probably supposed to be,
it's a joke.
but it's a joke.
Calm down.
Calm down. So, the Yang religion, absolutely, the gospel of Yang. The Father, the Son, and Andrew Yang.
That's right, see? What Vic just said.
What?
Just listen to Andrew Yang, it's like you're healed.
I mean,
Yeah.
listen. Okay, you cannot.
Don't
Hold
undo
on.
that.
Sorry, I have technical difficulties. I was wondering why it was moving. So,
Right, I was saying that earlier. Like, if Yang does not get the nomination, Trump wins. That's basically it. So he's got to win the nomination.
he's got to win the nomination, y'all.
And he
And
will.
you know
He's
what?
doing
I'm
it. telling
telling you something. I don't want to see him on Biden's ticket. I really don't, because Biden is such an establishment. I mean, if Yang is on Biden's ticket, I don't believe that Yang gets past the things that he wants to get past. It's like all or nothing, y'all. And we got one shot at this. So if y'all aren't out there evangelizing, I know I know that's kind of a tricky term right there, evangelizing. But if y'all aren't out there telling everybody you know about Andrew Yang all the time, y'all, I mean, we've even got to get him on the ballots of these states.
You'd be surprised how many people still haven't heard of Andrew Yang. It's surprising to me. And, well, the media is the reason why. Media blackout.
Yang media blackout, for sure. Purple umbrella
And
tones.
it took a long time for the media to even start showing up at Andrew Yang events. This has been a recent thing we've noticed. Like every event we used to go to, there wouldn't be a single media person there.
There was never media there. occasionally you might
Occasionally
see
you run into
the
the-
local, like
local
the local
journalists, yeah.
journalists or whatever. There was nobody, but now, like, he's starting to gain traction, but time is so short, y'all. I mean, it is so short. It's less than a football season left before the primaries. And we gotta have it. We gotta literally have everybody out there every day talking about Andrew Yang. And the Harvard economist coming out about the VAT being far superior to Elizabeth Warren's plans. Well, I mean, we all knew that. Come on, man. Anybody that is still trying to support Elizabeth Warren after, I mean, get your head out of the sand for real.
I read it. What was it? A tweet or something I read earlier that said something like Andrew Yang will either go down in history as the greatest president ever, or he's going to go down in history as the biggest missed opportunity for America. One of those two things. He's going down in history.
And yep, that's exactly right. It'll be either the biggest missed opportunity in American history, or he'll be the greatest president that the United States has probably ever had. I believe that, man. This guy is a once-in-a-lifetime candidate, if not once in several lifetimes candidate. I mean, it's crazy. And this is what makes the far right and the far left so mad about Andrew Yang. It is that he is that special candidate. And they can't, because he is such a threat to the establishment. He's what we've all been waiting for, y'all. He's the epitome of everything that we've been trying to accomplish in this country. For a long time, a lot of us have been like, well, no, I was moving it because, but for a long time, a lot of us in this country have been like, you know what, my gosh, can we just stop fighting? Can we just start getting along? Can we just forget about, like, I don't know, I didn't do anything to anybody. All I know is I love everybody. And, there is this group of like-minded people that I found. And that group is the Yang Gang. And the Yang Gang is that group of people who just want to come together. Let's let everybody do better. Let's let the broke folk vote not be quite so broke. Why are we living this way in our country? Why do we have homeless people in this country? And the fact of the matter is, most of us are one or two things happening away from being in that same situation. So, and I think that the Yang Gang has realized that it's not me, it's not you, it's us. We're all in this shit together, man. For so long, these people who have been in power in Washington and these huge corporations, for so long they've been screwing the American people. And they've been getting away with it, and getting away with it, and getting away with it. And our lives have just gotten tougher and tougher. So somebody comes along like Andrew Yang, and he's like, you know what? Why are we doing it this way? Why are we doing it this way? Let's tax these companies. Let's make them pay their fair share. Let's use democracy dollars to wash out corporate money. That makes me. Let's give the power back to the people where it's supposed to be. Let's make the average everyday man, let's make their lives a little bit better. Do you know how just revolutionary $1,000 a month would be for so many people? You know what? I hope by the time that Andrew Yang is president, I've sold my first book or something, and I don't need a freedom dividend anymore. Here we go. Showtime.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming to the Andrew Yang event. Give him another round of applause. There wouldn't be an event in Plymouth if we weren't plugging the Plymouth Area Democrats. So my name is Jay Noer, I'm the chair of the Plymouth Area Democrats. We're so happy to have Andrew Yang here. We've had him here a few times. I think this is the third time in Plymouth. Sorry. Yeah. So we have a meeting tonight at 5:30 at the Senior Center. So I'm sure after when this is done, everyone, including Andrew, will come down to our meeting at the Senior Center. You're going to agree to that? All right. So you heard it from Andrew. You should come down to the Senior Center. Free food for all of you college students who can never pass up a free meal. And we have some great programming tonight, so we'd love to see you there. This is one of many events we've partnered with the PSU Dems on, and we're so happy to partner with them again. The PSU Dems is just such a vibrant, active, excited group, and we're really proud of what they're doing. So, without further ado, here is Isabel, the president of the PSU Dems.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming out. My name is Isabel and we are very happy to have Andrew Yang here on campus. In November of 2017, Yang launched his campaign for the Democratic nomination in 2020 for the US presidential election. His signature issue is support for what he calls the freedom dividend, a form of universal basic income. For every American age 18 and up, Yang believes UBI is a necessary response to the rapid development of automation that is leading the workforce challenges. I am so excited to introduce presidential candidate Andrew Yang.
Let's go, Andrew.
Plymouth State University Democrats. I just want to get a sense. Like, there's a visual cue, but how many of y'all are college students? All right, so college students up there, college students. All right, and then here we have people. You sure you're here too? Yeah, you have the sweatshirt on. Someone has a sweatshirt on. That's clearly higher class. I want to speak to you. I want to make this a bit college themed because we are here at PSU. I'm running for president, and we're doing really well, I'm happy to say. Gathering steam very, very quickly. How many of you saw me when I spoke here last time? There might be a few of you. So we've learned a lot since then. We're doing really, really well. I'm going to walk through my history and what brought me to this point. I went to high school here in New Hampshire. I went to a school called Phillips Exeter Academy. When I first showed up here in New Hampshire, I was like, does that count? And they're like, oh yeah, it counts. I was like, oh, they're good. So I went to Phillips Exeter, spent 2 not that happy years there, frankly. We went to Brown University, not that far from here, studied economics, political science, didn't know what to do, so I went to law school. Any young people here think you don't go to law school? Hands? I'm at best iffy on the law school thing. I'd feel better about law school if it were free. And that's sort of a theme of education generally. But law school is not free. It's very, very expensive. So you come out with 6 figures in debt. And a legal career now is not what it was even when I graduated. I graduated in '99 and became a corporate attorney for 5 unhappy months. During those months, I thought, wow, this job requires me to think about the worst things that can happen a lot. Because that's what a good lawyer will do. Like, I'm going to be like, what's the worst possible series of events that can happen? And I thought, well, this seems like a real drag. And I was doing this set of documents for a company that was getting bought by another company. And I was documenting what that transaction would look like. And I was like, instead of here doing the paperwork, I'd try and build a company. How many of you all thought about starting a business at some point? So that was me. I said, oh, let me start a business. And I thought it was going to get harder to start a business, not easier, because I figured I didn't have family or mortgage or kids or any of that stuff. So I thought, oh, I might as well take a shot now. So I left my law firm job to start a business, and it had its mini rise at maximum fall. Super hard. Lost people hundreds of thousands of dollars. Still owed $100,000 in law school debt because law school is not free. Again, I used to call my school loans my mistress because it was like a family in another town. I was like, I hope they're having a good time in town Sally Mae, and like sending them these checks. And if you're a student here, this school is more reasonably priced than some others. But how many of you are all taking student loans out to study here? The average student loan debt now for someone graduating from college is almost $40,000. Record highs. We're up to $1.6 million as a society. We've left a real mess for young people in particular. We made education and healthcare and housing much, much more expensive. And when you come out of college, unfortunately, even having a college degree is not the ticket to a secure career anymore. The underemployment rate for recent college graduates in the United States, actually go ahead and guess, what's the underemployment rate? Which is like you're doing a job that doesn't require a degree. It's 40 to 44%, so it's almost 50%. What proportion of Americans graduate from college? It's 33%, it's about a third. So if you're like the top third who graduates, the population who graduates from college, you figure, well, okay, I'm in good shape, but then there's a 40 to 44% chance you're doing a job that doesn't require a college degree, which means you're technically underemployed, is what the term is. So, I got all this law school loans, my business had just crashed, but I've been bitten by the bug. I worked for another small growth company, and then another, and I ended up hitting my stride. I became the head of an education company that grew to become number one in the United States and was bought by a bigger company in 2009. So it took me 10 years or so to get there. So one reason why I feel like I understand the issues that young people have a little bit better than some other candidates, because I actually worked with young people throughout my entire adult career. This education company worked with people who wanted to get into law school, business school, and then after my company was acquired in 2009, I quit my job to start a nonprofit called Venture for America. And Venture for America was trying to address this problem that I saw where we had so many young people that wanted to build businesses, just like I did when I was at your age, and felt like it was a bridge too far. Raise your hand again if you're thinking about starting a business. You're probably daunted by it because you think, how the heck do you get started? How do you get the money? How do you start building that company? And so I thought we need to try and help our young people start businesses around the country. So I quit my job, I donated some money to start an organization called Venture for America. And then I started calling rich friends with this question: do you love America? And then the smart among them said, what does it mean if I say yes to this question, Andrew? And I said at least $10,000. And then told them, so I love America for $10,000. It's like, I thought you did. So we had 120, and then I threw some money in, so we had a couple $100,000 to work with. And then it grew and grew into the millions, helped create several thousand jobs around the country. How many of you all like documentary films? There's a documentary about Venture for America that follows 6 young people as they build businesses in Detroit over a 2-year period called Generation Startup. So if you like documentaries, if you like young people, that's a movie about the organization that I started and built for 7 years. So during this time, I was celebrated by the Obama administration and others because I helped create several thousand jobs. I was like Mr. Entrepreneurship. So I was getting these awards and accolades, but I had this sinking feeling that unfortunately our economy was changing in fundamental ways such that every job I was helping to create was like pouring water into a bathtub that had a giant hole in the bottom. That if I was helping a company start that created 10, 20, 30 jobs, we were going to lose 1,000 or 2,000 jobs to technology and automation. And this really hit home when Donald Trump became our president in 2016. How did you all react when Donald Trump won? Depression, cried, tears, lost sleep, I think was what I heard. Lost hope, anxiety. Members or friends or neighbors that were really excited when Donald Trump won. We know this because tens of millions of Americans voted for him. I have family members and friends and neighbors who were very excited when Donald Trump won. But I took his victory as a giant red flag that said, wow, we've gotten to a point where tens of millions of Americans decided to take a bet on the narcissist reality TV star and thought this was like a better way to go. In part because they did not feel like they were being well served by our existing systems and institutions. And so I dug into the numbers and I found one factor that explained his victory more powerfully than everything else. Where there's a straight line up between the adoption of industrial automation in a voting area and the movement towards Trump in that area. Another way to look at it is we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Missouri, Iowa. All the swing states that Donald Trump needed to win and did win. 4 million. We got rid of 30,000 here in New Hampshire, mostly in the northern part of the state. Some of you might be from those towns. And when those factories close and the jobs disappear, blue goes to red in a hurry. That's what happened in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and that's what's now happening in communities around the country. How many of you noticed stores closing where you live? You're in New Hampshire or wherever you come in from. Why are those stores closing? Amazon, that's right, one word answer. Amazon soaking up $20 billion in business every single year. How much did Amazon pay in taxes last year? Zero. That is the math. 20 billion out, zero back. The most common job in most of the country is being a retail clerk. Average retail worker is a 39-year-old woman making between $9 and $10 an hour. So when her store or mall closes, what is her next job going to be? When you all call the customer service line of a big company and you get the software, you probably do the same thing I do. You dial 000, say human, until you get someone on the line, right? Raise your hand. I mean, you breathe a sigh of relief, you're like, oh, I got a person. Life is good again. In 2 or 3 short years, the software is going to sound like this. Hey, Andrew, how's it going? What can I do for you? It's going to be fast, seamless, delightful, a little bit seductive, perhaps. What is that going to mean for the 2.5 million Americans who work in call centers right now making $14 an hour? Being a truck driver is a common job. How many of you walked into a fast food restaurant and seen the self-serve kiosk? Food service and food preparation, third most common job in the United States. McDonald's says they'll have a self-serve kiosk in every location in the U.S. in the next 2 years. So a lot of the entry-level jobs are going to disappear very quickly. Driving the trucks is the most common job in 29 states. There are 3.5 million truckers in the United States of America, and my friends in California are working on trucks that can drive themselves. They tell me they're 98% of the way there. Now 98% sounds like a lot, but you can't have semi-trucks smashing into things at a 2% error rate. They'll be like, oh, we got it mostly right. And that's not going to work out. So how do they think they get the last 2%? Do you remember the first time you watched TV on your cell phone? Do you remember that? When that feeling behind it's like, oh, I can do that now? We are now rolling out 5G around the country. And the way they think they can get the last 2% is by equipping the semi-trucks with teleoperating equipment. So that if the self-driving trucks are really bad with snow. Because when snow covers the road markings, they can't see them. And they get confused. And then they don't like it. That's why they're testing them in Arizona. It's like a snow-free environment. The way they think they can get the last 2% is by equipping these trucks with teleoperating software so that a person sitting in a warehouse in Nevada or Arizona will get alerted when the truck in New Hampshire doesn't know what to do, and they'll beam into the truck and drive it like a video game, because the truck will have cameras out the front. So they'll just beam in and they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna get in the truck, and then they'll drive it based upon what they can see, and then they'll beam back out when the computer is What do you think the ratio will be between teleoperators in Nevada and Arizona and the 3.5 million truckers? 5%, 10%? Certainly not going to be 1-to-1, am I right? You're going to have 3.5 million people like sitting in the teleoperating center. So what's that going to mean for the 3.5 million truckers in the United States? 94% men, average age 49, average education high school or 1 year of college, or the 7 million Americans who work in truck stops, hotels, and diners that require the truckers to get out and have a meal every day. Think about these towns in the Midwest that literally rely upon the truckers. It's like, our trucking system's like a circulatory system. The trucks are like blood cells, and then you have these towns that are essentially way stations. The robot truck never stops. A human-driven truck has to stop after 14 hours. The computer will actually stop the truck from going more than that. It'll say, hey, you need to get out and take a nap. But the robot truck, 24/7. So these are the trends that are transforming our economy underneath our feet. Donald Trump is not the source of our problems. He's a symptom. He's a manifestation of what experts are calling the fourth industrial revolution, which is what we're now in the midst of. When's the last time you heard a politician say the words fourth industrial revolution? Just now. And I'm barely a politician. My first move was not to run for president. I went to Washington, D.C., and I said, what are we going to do about the fact that we're scapegoating immigrants for things that immigrants have nothing to do with, and that is technology and machines and automation. And what do you think the folks in D.C. said to me when I asked them, what are we going to do? I got 3 responses. Number 1, we cannot talk about that. Number 2, we should study that further. And number 3, we must educate and retrain all Americans for the jobs of the future. Now that sounds very confident, but we're all here in the university. Do you all want to guess what the effectiveness rates were for government-funded retraining programs for the manufacturing workers that lost their jobs in the Midwest? laughing. She says 10%. That's essentially right. It was 0 to 15%. They're a total dud. Half of the manufacturing workers that lost their jobs in the Midwest never worked again. And of that group, half filed for disability. And then we saw surges in suicides and drug overdoses in those communities to the point that America's life expectancy has declined for 3 years in a row. You all want to know the last time American life expectancy declined 3 years in a row? The Spanish flu of 1918. You have to go to a global pandemic 100 years ago that killed millions to find a period of time when America's life expectancy declined for 3 years in a row. We are in Spanish flu territory now because of drug overdoses and suicides overtaking vehicle deaths for the first time in American history. So when I said this to the folks in DC, one of them told me the truth. He said, Andrew, no one here in DC is going to do anything about this set of problems. Because this is not a town of leaders, this is a town of followers. And the only way we will do anything about it is if you create a wave in other parts of the country and bring that wave crashing down on our heads. And I heard this and I said, challenge fucking accepted. I'll be back with a wave. That was 2 years ago and here I am. You'd think I was making that speech up. I think it's like some movie supervillain type thing. It's actually a DC lobbyist. It's something very similar. So this is the wave. You all are the wave. I love being here in New Hampshire because it's one of the only places in the country that democracy actually functions the way it's supposed to. You know, that you actually are superpowered by virtue of being a New Hampshire resident, New Hampshire voter. Californians, each New Hampshire voter is worth 1,000. So you look around this room, how many of us are there? Maybe 120 people here? That's like 3 football stadiums of Californians. That's why every presidential candidate will come here and make the case to you. Say, look, if you take a vision to the rest of the country, it actually becomes reality very, very quickly. You all are superpowered. So the question is, how are you going to use that power to clean the pipes of our government? Because right now, most Americans look up and they see our government as a set is clogged full of hundreds of millions of dollars of lobbyist cash. And they think their vote doesn't matter. They are generally correct. Their vote cannot clean the pipes, but yours can. So the question is, what vision are you going to take to the rest of the country in 2020 to help solve these problems at their roots? If you're here today, at some point you heard something like this. There's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month. Remember the first time you heard that? Nothing like the first time, am I right? Now the first time you heard it, you thought it was a joke, you thought it was a gimmick, you thought it was never going to happen. But this is not my idea. This is a deeply American idea that's been embedded in the country's DNA since our founding. Thomas Paine was for it at the beginning, called it the citizen's dividend for all Americans. Martin Luther King fought for it in the 60s, called it the guaranteed minimum for all Americans. And it is what he was fighting for when he was assassinated in 1988. You can read his book, Chaos or Community. He says this is the answer. 1,000 economists, including Milton Friedman, endorsed this in the 60s, and it was so mainstream it passed the U.S. House of Representatives twice in 1971 under Richard Nixon. And 11 years later, one state passed a dividend where now everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. And what state is that?
Alaska.
And how does Alaska pay for it?
Oil.
And what is the oil of the 21st century?
Technology.
Technology, AI, big data, software, self-driving trucks. How many of you saw the study that said that our data is now worth more than oil? You see that? How many of you got your data check in the mail? Where did the data check go? It went to Facebook, Amazon, Google, and the biggest tech companies that are sucking us dry and paying zero in taxes while doing it. So this dividend I'm talking about, it sounds too good to be true initially, but as soon as you start realizing what's happening, it actually becomes a necessary step to make the economy trickle up, work from us and our families and our communities up. Because after I'm president, thanks to you all, and you get this dividend of $1,000 a month, how are we going to spend it in real life? Gas, daycare, college, healthcare. How much of it's going to stay here in New Hampshire? A whole lot of it, not all of it. A little bit of it would float up to the cloud. Then most of it would stay right here in New Hampshire. It would go right to your textbooks and car repairs you've been putting off, and Little League signups and daycare, and build a virtuous cycle in your communities. It's particularly vital for young people who we've completely left out to dry. We have, and then we've somehow stuck you with a bill of lading for it. It's deeply immoral. And it'll also go particularly far in rural areas that are getting depleted the fastest. Because right now, Americans in rural towns are seeing their Main Street stores close, they're looking up, the kids all feel like they have to leave. Instead, we can actually make the economy start working for us, reflect our own needs and values. This is imperative in part because we've been led the wrong direction by our headline measurements. GDP's at record highs right now in the United States, also at record highs. Stress levels, student loan debt, financial insecurity, even suicides and drug overdoses. So you have to ask yourself, if GDP is going up and life expectancy is going down, which do you listen to? How many of you were actually excited about GDP when you woke up this morning? You're like, oh, I hope I make a big contribution today. Of course not, it's ridiculous. Then I talk about my family. My wife's at home with our 2 boys right now, one of whom is autistic. How much does her work count in GDP every year? Zero. Zero value, and we know that's nonsense. We know she and the other 10 million stay-at-home parents in this country are doing some of the most important work there is. So if GDP is leading us in the wrong direction, and even the inventor 100 years ago said this is a terrible measurement for national well-being, we should never use it as that, said that 100 years ago, here we are, riding off the cliff, what would you actually change it to that would correspond to how you are doing? Mental health and freedom from substance abuse. If I said that got better, you'd be pretty happy about it. You might literally be happy about it. How about income and affordability? You can't afford the basics. What good is GDP? Doesn't matter. How about clean air and clean water? The environment's getting better. That makes you happy. Childhood success rates, health and life expectancy, proportion of Americans who can retire in quality circumstances. We all want to live in a country where we have old people just working till the day they die in convenience stores. Like, that's not an America I want. And we don't have to live like that if we don't want to. So, these are the measurements that will actually tell us how we're doing, and I will update us every year at the State of the Union. I will be the first president to use a PowerPoint deck at the State of the Union. I will say GDP, way out of date, we're going to modernize it for the 21st century reality. It's 100 years old. You tell me that it's not time for an upgrade? So this is the vision that you can make a reality as quickly as possible. I stand before you today, my campaign raised $10 million in the last quarter, at an average of only $30 each, so my fans are almost as cheap as Bernie's. But zero corporate PAC money, all human beings just deciding to throw down because they see that we can do better for ourselves, that this vision will work. I'm either 4th, 5th, or 6th in national polls. I'm talking about young people, I'm kind of proud of that. I'm 4th, 5th, or 6th in national polls, and I'm one of only 2 candidates in the field that 10% or more of Donald Trump voters say they would support in the general. Which means if I'm the nominee, we win in 2020. That's just math. So this is the vision we have to take to the rest of the country as quickly as possible. And if we fail in this, if we just keep chasing the symptoms, then we get 4 more years of the stores closing, the AI getting smarter, the robot trucks starting to hit the highways. We do not have the time to waste. Donald Trump's our president today in part because he got some of the problems right. He said, I'm going to make America great again. What was Hillary Clinton's response in 2016? America's already great. And that was not the right response. We have to acknowledge the depth and severity of the problems, but we have to present real solutions that would work for the American people. Donald Trump got some of the problems right, but his solutions were the opposite of what we need. He said, we have to build a wall, we have to turn the clock back, we have to bring the old jobs back. We have to do the opposite of these things. We have to turn the clock forward. We have to accelerate our economy and society as quickly as possible. We have to evolve in the way we see ourselves and our work and our value. And I am the ideal candidate for that in New Hampshire because the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. Thank you very much.
Make America think harder.
Make America think harder. That's what we gotta do. That's how we're gonna win in 2020. Thank you. I can't wait to take some questions from you all. Just tell me who to ask a question. Yeah.
So with the universal basic income, would that replace all other forms of like welfare systems, like food stamps and food stamps?
I'm the last person who would ever want to take anything away from any American, particularly since Americans are relying upon many of the existing programs. That said, I've talked to people who are on existing programs, and they live in fear of losing their benefits for any variety of reasons, including administrative requirements and hoop jumping. So the goal is to have the freedom dividend be universal and opt-in. But if you do opt-in, then you're choosing to forego certain cash-like benefits from EPT and other programs. This does not include anything healthcare related or housing related or social security, because these things are independent and sacrosanct. If you look at it from the perspective of a person who's on these programs, if they are receiving more than $1,000, then they say, okay, this $1,000 of cash is not preferable to me. But when I've talked to people, if they're anywhere near the $1,000 line, first $1,000 is a lot more than a lot of people are receiving, particularly if you look at it on a per adult basis. If you have 2 adults in a household, it's $24,000 a year. If you have a child, you know, when they turn 18, they get $1,000 a month. So anyone close to the line is going to opt for the cash because they don't want to lose their benefits under the current systems, and they want to be unrestrained in the way they spend.
So it's an option?
Yeah, it's universal, it's opt-in, and if you do opt-in, then you're choosing to forego existing benefits from a certain suite of programs, but not healthcare, housing, or social security.
Thank you for coming today. I think climate change, or the climate emergency, is the biggest thing facing us and the next president. I'm not familiar with your plan to address it, but what would you be doing day one?
How many of you agree with him that climate change is an existential threat to our way of life? If you don't have your hand up, you probably should. So if you watch the third debate, you might have heard me stake out a new position in American politics on climate change. Position number 1, we have to fight climate change. Position number 2, climate change is a hoax. And then Andrew Yang's position number 3, it's even worse than you think. We need to take very, very dramatic steps immediately that include protecting our people. The last 4 years have been the 4 warmest years in recorded history. July was the warmest month in recorded history. Unfortunately, we're way behind the curve at this point. Greenland just reported that its ice pack is melting at the rate projected in 2070 today, 50 years earlier. So whatever the most pessimistic projections are, we're going to exceed them. I was just in Portsmouth, and they showed me dozens of buildings that are now flooding regularly, and a multi-million-dollar shrimping business that went to zero because of climate change. So we have to take dramatic steps forward on climate change from day one. I released a comprehensive, about 50-page plan related to climate change that has 5 big components. Number 1, we have to take all the subsidies we're giving to fossil fuel companies, zero them out, and then move them to renewable forms of energy to try and improve our energy composition as quickly as possible. Number 2, we have to be realistic about the fact that the United States of America is only 15% of global emissions. What's happening in the rest of the world is that China is going to Africa and saying, hey, I've got a power plant for you, it burns coal. And then what does Africa say in response? Great, we'll take it, because they just want energy as cheaply as possible. So in order to try and improve the 85% of emissions in the rest of the world, we actually have to go to them and say, don't take the coal burning plant. I've got these fantastic solar panels for you and wind turbines, and we will subsidize them deeply. We have to make it a no-brainer to choose more renewable forms of energy for the developing world if our efforts are going to have any impact. Number 3, we have to start reversing the damage and try and do some good. Now this sounds ridiculous, but we're past the point where if we curb emissions, the environment's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. So what we have to do is reforest vast tracts of land, because that's fantastic for carbon capture. We need to try and rebuild marine ecosystems by actually reseeding them with plant life. Because right now the Atlantic Ocean is losing 48% of its biomass every year. So if we stop doing damage, it will probably deteriorate further. We actually have to affirmatively invest in resuscitating these ecosystems. Number 4, we need to move our people to higher ground, both literally and figuratively. Right now, We've already resettled Americans from a town in Louisiana that became uninhabitable. We should invest the money up front to make our communities more resilient. If you think about a natural disaster, who suffers the most in the aftermath or immediately? Poor people. People who don't have a car to get into driving safely. So if you put a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month in people's hands, people can protect themselves more, but then you can't leave communities on their own. You have to have federal resources to say, look, we have to rebuild the levees, we have to try to elevate certain parts of the country, or in some cases have incentives for relocation. And then the fifth part is a constitutional amendment that says it's up to us to safeguard the environment for future generations. Now, I don't talk about climate change as much in my initial remarks, but it's on my mind because right now I think that financial scarcity and insecurity and our inability to address climate change are tied together. If you go to an American who right now is part of the 78% of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck, almost half can't afford an unexpected $400 bill, and you go to them and say, we need to fight climate change, what are they going to say? I can't pay next month's rent. You know, like I can't worry about a problem that's years down the line. Like I just gotta keep one foot. I can't worry about a problem that's years down the line. Like I just gotta keep one foot in front of the other. And then their natural human reaction is just to shut down and say, you know, I can't worry about the penguins. I just gotta worry about myself and the family. If you get the boot off of their throat and say, hey, guess what? Your future's assured, your kids' future's assured, then they'll be more likely to say, you know what? I need to think about the future a bit more, and then you can actually accelerate progress on climate change. Because right now, when we say fight climate change, you know a lot of Americans here, higher bills, more complexity, fewer jobs. That's what they hear. And we have to try and get that off of their throats, and then transform our economic measurements to say it's only by building a more sustainable infrastructure that we can actually count it as progress. Because we can't get in a losing battle where we say, this is bad for growth. We have to make it so that people see moving towards a renewable infrastructure as actually good for growth, good for jobs, good for the bottom line. I like to go man, woman, male, female, whatever I can. So, yes, miss. Go ahead, right away.
When I hear growth, I wonder if we're really, our country has this illusion that growth forever is possible and a good thing. It is not possible. There is no way, even at a 0.5% of growth per year, our economy cannot do that forever. It's not physically possible. We will use up our resources regardless of how green we are. So we're lying to people if we say, yeah, forever growth is still possible even if you go green. It is not possible. Can you address that?
Sure. You're mathematically 100% correct, as you know. The goal again is to try and actually change your measurements so that they actually do become more sustainable. So here's what I mean. If you were just to have like top line like GDP and production, eventually you start hitting structural limits, particularly that's related to resources we consume. But if you actually change the measurements so we're trying to improve our way of life, then you can grow forever, if you know what I mean. Like if you have an economy that's measured by our mental health and stress levels and health and life expectancy and these other things, then you can actually grow to the sky. Because, you know, we don't know how mentally healthy we can be, we don't know how healthy we can be, we don't know how well our kids can do. If you had it just as like our current measurement, and this is one of the greatest perversions, if you have a hurricane that knocks down a town, that's actually good for GDP. That's a good thing, because then you have to actually take all the materials and try and rebuild that town. It's like, ooh, there's some more building being done. Like that's how messed up the measurements are. So I agree with you that you can't have this growth model by our current measurements forever. I want to try and find a college student because I feel like they're being we got one? Yeah, sure. Sure, I'm happy to repeat his question. He's asking for my stance on marijuana and drug sentences. So I am for the complete legalization of marijuana, and I would pardon everyone who's in jail for a nonviolent pot-related offense on April 20th, 2021. not a joy. New Hampshire is one of the epicenters of the opiate crisis, and I'm very passionate about the fact that this is something the government allowed to happen, where the government allowed the dispensation of millions of OxyContin prescriptions, saying it's a non-addictive wonder drug, and has now killed tens of thousands of Americans, and we pretend that it's a personal failing when really it was an epic systemic failure. So if you look at what's happening in the rest of the world, some countries have taken the step of decriminalizing opiates for personal use, and I believe we should do the same thing here in the US, where if you're an addict and you're hooked on these drugs and we catch you, we should refer you to counseling and treatment and not a prison cell. If you're a dealer and you're a criminal, then obviously you're going to jail. But if you're an addict, we should let you know you're going to get help. We should have safe injection and safe consumption sites for people. I was here in New Hampshire, and an EMT told me that he saved someone from ODing, and then he saves them again the next week, and then the week after as well, because after they OD, they get sent home, and then they just find some more opiates, and then he has to save them again. So he's saying, and I agree with him, we need to have safe consumption sites so that the person actually has a chance to fight towards health and not just get sent home where their addiction will resume. We need to take much more dramatic steps at a societal level and let people know that they will get help. This is a human problem, this is not a money problem, but money cannot be the obstacle. Because the drug companies made tens of billions of dollars on the backs of American families and communities and killed, again, tens of thousands of Americans. 8 Americans are dying every hour, even now. And so money cannot be the obstacle in terms of people getting help, and our criminal justice system shouldn't be either. All right, so I have a choice between questions and selfies. And my experience with most people is they actually prefer selfies to questions. So let me try a poll, because this is a democracy after all. Raise your hand if you're saying questions. Raise your hand if you're saying selfies. Wow, it's a bit of an even split. Very confusing. So as your future commander-in-chief, I will make a choice. What I'll say is one more question, then we'll do selfies. Let's do that. So we'll take, they're pointing to him. Oh, he's got a copy of my book too, so I had to take it. All right.
Economics teacher, these are some of my students over here. We're worried about inflation related to UBI. How can we not worry about inflation related to UBI?
Look at that. It's a teacher brought his high school class. If you watch the presidential candidate, so what is your favorite eatery here at Plymouth State University? Like, where do you guys go for food?
Downtown pizza.
Downtown pizza. Okay. How much does a meal cost at downtown pizza on average per person?
A large pizza's like $18.
All right. So let's say it's $18. The feed's like whatever. 15. All right. So I'm president. Everyone gets $1,000 a month. So everyone's happy. You guys are all partying, being like, "Oh, we did it. It's happening." And then you go to downtown pizza, and the price, instead of being $18 for a large pizza, it's $28. How do you react?
Not mine. Yeah.
You go to which one? He goes to Keith's Pizza. So just because you have this $1,000 extra doesn't mean all of a sudden you're not budget conscious or sensitive to cost. You're like, wait a minute, this pizza was $18 yesterday. Why is it $28? And you sense they're trying to stick it to you because they think they can get more of your dividend. So then you go to Keith's Pizza and you find that it's essentially the same price as it was yesterday. So then what happens? The first place, whose name I now forget. The first place, then it's like, oh, I can't stick it to people. Maybe instead of jacking it up from $18 to $28, I'll go from 18 to like $18.50 or 19 or something very, very mild or $0, depending upon the competition. Right now, there have been 3 main drivers of inflation in American life. Education, which we all know well, unfortunately. Education, healthcare, and housing. Those are the 3 main drivers of cost in America. We printed $4 trillion to bail out the Wall Street banks. Remember voting for that? I'm kidding, we didn't vote for that. That's the reason I'm running. I looked at that and said, this is really shocking that we're letting the country go to this point. But we printed $4 trillion and it did not cause meaningful inflation. And if you look at our costs right now in things like clothing, media, electronics, cars, food for the most part, the costs have essentially been stable. And what's gone up has been education, healthcare, and housing. Now, education, healthcare, and housing have not gone up in price because we got really, really rich. They've gone up in price because there's actually not a clean, well-functioning market in any of those spaces. Education, you feel like you have no choice but to pay whatever they charge you, and there are these loans available. Healthcare, there's a principal agent problem, there's a giant insurance industry in the middle, and you feel like you're not paying the bill and you're cost sensitive because it's healthcare and the price only go up. And then housing, it's because you have limitations on the development of affordable housing options and NIMBYs and regs. So there's a very long-winded way of saying if you all had $1,000 extra a month, most of your prices would remain more or less the same because it's not based on money supply or purchasing power. And what we have to do is we have to get into the guts of the education and healthcare and housing systems and try and keep those costs from rising the way they have because they're breaking our back. All right, thank you so much. Let's put this together in 2020. It's up to you all. Use the power of your words. Thank you, Hampshire.
Thank you for being here. Andrew's going to do a quick interview with the press. If you want to line up, we're going to do selfies right here. So we can create a line going this direction. Thank you very much for being here. And please have your phones ready so we can make this quick.
Sorry?
There y'all have another stellar speech by POTUS 46. Yes, that NPR interview was great. And thank you for the donations that have come in. We appreciate that. I mean, y'all please understand, like, when Andrew's talking, I don't want to be talking. I want to listen. So.
And thank you, Michael Penoyer. Am I saying that right?
There was a lot of people.
I just want to say thank you for also upping your Patreon amount. That's really awesome. So we have a new executive producer. I got the notification. Thank you. That's awesome.
Executive producer of Grassroots Yang Gang. This is what y'all are supporting. Y'all support this channel. So
Your awesomeness.
For sure. We are going to try to interview our brother over here in just a minute. I know Andrew's going to do a media thing, and I don't want to interrupt him while he's doing his media thing over here, because we got all the news people hemmed up. They're like hens in a hen house. You know how they're all huddled together? That's what they're doing over there.
They're all best friends now.
We like being the outsiders, you know? Because you know,
I mean, we could jump in there and just be like,
I'm telling. So we had a notification pop up on the screen. It was aggravating. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, we kind of like being the outsiders, you know, the independent media, because listen, y'all gonna get it uncut here. Y'all gonna get it uncut. They ain't gonna be, you know, it's not gonna be no editing, nothing like that. So we've got like NBC. I'm seeing NBC. I'm seeing CBS. You're like, what?
her boots.
Oh.
I was gonna say, little Yang Gang said, I want to take a selfie. So we're gonna stand in line and get a selfie. Yep. Hi. He says he's gonna walk up to Andrew and hold up his little Yang pen, the one that Andrew used to wear, Mini Yang. Yeah. He's gonna hold it up and be like, look, I got Bernie Sanders on me. I'm like, this would stop Bernie Sanders. He's like, yeah, but I'm gonna tell him it is. I'm like, why?
That's so funny.
Why?
Yang Gang's a trip.
He is.
All right, so I'm kind of trying to wait to see. You know, I see we got about 200 people on this live stream. We appreciate each and every one of you being here. We appreciate every share, all the support that y'all give this channel is just amazing. The love is just. We were talking about it before Andrew Yang started speaking. There's a vision among the Yang Gang about moving humanity in a direction where it's one race, we're the human race, where there's one love. a place where we realize that we're all connected. We are connected to the homeless man that's on the street. We are connected to the people who are hurting and in pain in this country. I am you, you are me, your pain is my pain. And that's a vision that Andrew Yang, he embodies that vision. And he wants to bring us all together, where there is no more division. And we're all trying to fight for the same things. We all just want to be free. We all just want to be loved. And look,
Say hey, gang.
that's called YouTube face. That's awesome. Look, y'all never know what you're gonna see on this channel. So anyway, what we're doing is we're hanging out here because I know Andrew is about to do media, and we want to make sure that they can't cut it up or anything. Try to make Andrew
Sure
sound
we keep
any
him
type of
right.
way. We will keep the mainstream media on point. I promise you, because we like to show our faces around some of these events. If y'all didn't see the piece in the New York Times featuring Grassroots Yang Gang, y'all check it out. It was this morning. Grassroots Yang Gang making national waves.
Well, just you, really.
Well,
I don't like to talk to the media.
I think what she just said in a roundabout way, that's called a backhanded compliment where I come from. What she just said was, I have a big mouth. And
Well, I mean,
I saw that. You know I can see you in the camera.
Yeah.
So I see you now, I know my shoulder.
Well, you already know you have a big mouth. Everybody there knows you have a big mouth.
Whatever. You know what? I talk about Andrew Yang, so I'll use my big mouth.
24/7.
24/7. 24/8 sometimes. I be dreaming about Andrew Yang. These events. And how crazy is that?
Hashtag I dream of Yang.
It was so crazy because I woke up the other morning and I told Mama Yang, I was like, I said, is it crazy that I was dreaming about Andrew Yang events? And she was like, I was too, oh my gosh. And my sister-in-law ended up walking by and she was like, it's not crazy, guys. And I'm like, wow, maybe this is something we all do.
That's not weird, that's not crazy.
That's not weird. So that's pretty hilarious. We appreciate y'all sticking around. So if y'all don't want to, don't hang out, but we're gonna try to catch Andrew on these live news people over here.
The media.
The media, the media.
Hashtag dreams about Yang.
For sure, hashtag dreams about Yang.
Let's get in the back.
Hashtag let Yang speak.
Yeah.
Hashtag Yang Media Blackout. You know, it's amazing to me that there's hashtag Yang Beats Strong. Hashtag Roosters for Yang. We can probably just
Turtles for Yang.
Turtles, goats, chickens, cows. All right, so I'm gonna ask y'all, should we keep the live stream up? Should we keep this going for a minute? I know some of y'all might want to hear us talk, some of y'all might not want to hear us talk. So it's not just us. There's some other people putting it in the chat. I dream about Yang. That's so funny. It's like I Dream of Jeannie, only better. It's like.
Yeah, where's that guy you gotta interview? Where'd he go? Oh, there's your friend.
All right. Should we get this guy?
You gotta chase him down because he's in line.
Are you in line? All right.
He's gotta go selfie.
Wait, hold on a second. So you could probably do this from right there.
Yeah.
Are you Yang now? All right, look. All right, this is my brother here who we were interviewing at the beginning of this live stream. And we were asking him about Andrew Yang. So
You're gonna have to join that gang, man.
Are you?
I am, man.
You're in the Yang gang?
Yeah.
All right, you know you got to learn the Amazon claw now,
Yeah,
right?
that's what's up. Yeah.
Presidential candidate?
Well, we appreciate you, brother. Newest member of the Yang gang. Now, are you a New Hampshire resident? Where are you located? Africa. That is awesome. So the Yang gang is worldwide.
Yeah.
Yang gang is worldwide. This ain't just about our country.
That's what's up.
Because I promise you, if the United States does this, the rest of the world will follow.
Oh, it's just
What I like about it, if we subsidize solar panels back in Africa, people love it, man. Kind of Chinese back in Congo making this power for, like, I can speak right now, yeah.
Being from Africa, you know firsthand firsthand how much his policies would help your country.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing, Yang Gang. I mean, you are hearing it right here. I mean, you can't get no more real than this. This is coming out to y'all live. I mean, the fact that you say that and how much it would impact your country means a lot for us.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you being on here. And we're gonna let you get your spot back in line up there. I'm sure they'll let you back in. So he is not available to vote here, but you just heard him talk about the impact that would make for Africa. Like what he's talking about is like subsidizing solar panels and stuff as opposed to like, you know, fossil fuels and all of that. So look, I wanna. Okay, so. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna go worldwide.
You just want to bring the phone over for the photo op?
Maybe. Yeah. So we're on a mission, and we are in line now. And Andrew is right here. I'm gonna try to hold this as still as possible. So I don't know how.
Reverse it and just be like, say hey to the Yankees. We'll get over there.
Yeah, we're going to.
Oh, okay, man.
My gracious. The manners. But I shake with my right hand, man. Can you carry this? You recording too?
How was this actually just going to get a picture?
It's
Why are
hard for
you
me
shaking?
because it's hard for me to hold it with this hand.
Hold it with your other hand.
I can't because I shake with my right hand.
Well, hold it with that hand.
You're not making no sense.
Hold it with whichever hand you like.
I have to shake Andrew's hand with my right hand. Though.
Yeah. Yeah, do that.
Okay, so you want to give him your camera?
Yeah.
It's good to see you again.
He said I have to get a selfie.
Sure thing. Let's hop in. Hey guys, how are you?
What's up, man?
Yeah, looking so good.
Thank you, bro. You want to say hi to the Yang Gang?
All the time.
Hey Yang Gang, how's it going? Wow, look at that. Oh, so many people watching us. Grassroots Yang Gang, love them, whole family. Oh no, he's out of the picture. Come on up. Look
He's
at
showing
that.
you his mini Yang.
Oh, his mini is? Where is he?
On his shirt.
Oh really? Oh yeah, there he is. He's looking good.
It's the one Jack gave him.
You were in the New York Times.
Take a picture right here.
Yes, go for it. Just take a few.
All right.
Right there.
1, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you guys.
And we will be in where is it?
North Conway. Hey Yang Gang, Grassroots Yang Gang all the way. Love humanity. Mwah. And plus they let me manhandle their child, which is actually one thing I'm very excited about.
He did ask the other day when he would get to have a play date with your boys.
Oh wow, they would love that. You might be too cool for them.
I'm sure they're awesome.
We appreciate you.
You need a high five.
Yes.
All right. So maybe we'll get the opportunity to ask him at the next one.
Yeah.